So, hello, and welcome to episode number 121 of CoCreative NoCode's Office Hours. I'm Tonya, your host, here with my partner, Pablo, and our members, Thomas, Brittany, and Jay, and my Kim, of course. So we're going to get started in a moment here, but if this is your first time tuning into Office Hours, probably on right now, Facebook is down, so maybe you're watching the replay on YouTube. Go ahead and smash that like button on the video, and please do subscribe and make sure to get those notifications turned on so you don't miss any of our content. And then if you would like to come on for a complimentary session to see what Office Hours is all about and how we can help you answer your bubble questions, then please just go ahead and shoot us an email at team@CoCreativeNoCode.com, and we'll make sure to get you some credentials over so you can come and see us next time. We do this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And basically, we open it up to our members to ask any bubble questions they might have. And today we're going to start with Brittany. So Brittany, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so you can start.
Okay. Okay, so my question today is on responsiveness. So I just realized that it wasn't shown. This is the tab. This is the one that came with Bubble. I just chose it from off of the little elements thing. So when I go to, like, it took away, you can't even see, you can't even see the account information tab. So I don't know how to, I've tried, let's see, I tried, I don't know if this is even right. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. So I don't know what the add hiding rule is. So I tried that and it didn't work.
So do you want all 4 tabs to still be visible, or do you want, you do?
Well, yeah, because this is, if it can, if not, then if there's a way to just show that, well, how would they know what the other tab is?
Usually it moves to like a hamburger menu and then you get a drop down. I think that's usually how things are handled in responsively. So yeah, the hiding rules probably make sense. You would just hide them. So the first answer to your question, of course, I wouldn't say that I'm even the expert in responsiveness here on this call. I think Thomas and Jay have me by about a mile. So if either one of you want to jump in here, but the first thing I would do is group all of those groups together from the UI builder.
Okay.
And just go back to the responsive tab and just see how that affected things, if it did at all.
Yeah, it made it look.
Okay, so that's the first start, the start. So I think after about, so drag it out from the top, like up at the top, just make it wider.
Oh, right here.
Yep. Keep going until you want to find that moment where all 4 can't fit on the page anymore, that it's driving it down, and then come right back so that they're all 4 on. So yeah, so actually a little bit less
right here,
because it's right there. So now what I would do is I would go into each one of them and create a hiding rule. Or actually you could create the hiding rule on the group itself, on the group of 4 things.
So let me.
Yeah, for me, the difference here would be whether you want to hide them all at once, as Tonya said, or maybe just keep 3, then keep 2, then keep 1.
Right. I would rather do that. Like, how would I make it? So say if they're on this, if they hit this one, I would want it to keep maybe like the 2 before it or something, or maybe, you know, I don't know how it works.
So Brittany, if you have 2 of them, you don't really want a hamburger menu and then a text menu. That is confusing.
Yeah.
So you have to commit. Do you want 4 of them or do you want a hamburger menu? If you want 4 of them, here's what I would start with. first of all, you've got a lot of extra characters. Like you can call information info and you can make that smaller. You could pick a slightly smaller, more readable font. And then you could also have it so that when current page width is less than 768 or whatever it is you choose, then have it be a smaller font, because you can get away with a pretty small font on your phone.
Gotcha.
So that'll give you more room right there. The other thing is you've got these 4 groups. You need to check that it looks like they're fixed width. That's going to be a problem. So you probably want to unfix width them.
On which one now? Wait a minute.
The profile info, account info, payment info, and subscription info groups. Make those not fixed with. You might want to start with the default of whatever it is, 50 and 100, but you might have to change that because it's going to act weird. So you might have to make it like 74% or 23 or whatever it is.
Okay.
And then the group above it, the parent group of those groups, you'll need to also look at the width of that, the minimum maximum width. You can get them all on there if they'll fit. So right now they're too big. They're not going to fit on a phone because of the size font you have. And each one of those is 111.
Right.
So, and someone's on a device that's smaller than 444 pixels, it's gonna act not right.
So what about when if they're using it on the computer, it's gonna look funny, right?
Now, you can set it up so that on current page width is less than whatever you decide. I pick a tablet size. So if it's less than iPad Pro, then it'll be a different thing. It might be the hamburger menu if you go that route.
I didn't know that was possible. So
yeah, in the conditions.
Okay.
A new condition. Start in with current and page width.
Current.
It's at the bottom. You can type in page.
Okay.
I will interject here just one comment. For any mobile apps that are being submitted to the App Store, they don't like font sizes less than 16. For the Apple App Store.
I think your font size before was great. I think you just don't need info. You just say profile, account, payment, subscription.
Oh yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
That will work too. So on maybe on, I don't know. It's so much going on in my head right now. I'm trying to grasp everything. So yeah, if I just change it to, and maybe change the font size to like 16, since that's because I am gonna end up turning it to an app. So I want to make sure I have.
Justin, if you set the font in your app at 16, but you set a condition saying when this text is visible, make it a different font size, will that pass the App Store muster, or will it get, kicked out?
It's really only Apple devices that care. But what I would
not
say,
an Apple user.
Yeah. What I would say is that don't use the condition when this is visible, because it will create this weird, it'll slow down the app. The condition, if you want it to be always on for a condition, you do this URL is not empty. If you want something to always be on, because when you do it as visible, that means like there's going to be a split second where it's like smaller and then it changes sizes when it's loading, and the page has to keep track of all of the things that are visible on the page. So it's got adding a lot more things to the page and a lot more logic. So that's what I would suggest in this case. I think that you're probably fine for if you want to have it on a phone. If you just make each of them the minimum width, like if you make them as small as you can, but space them out properly, just like how they are now. And then you can keep it where it was before. That's fine.
Oh, you want to?
Yeah, you could even keep it there. And then just make sure that they're the right width. And then in the responsive engine, I can show you how you can collapse the margins in between them so that it'll fit.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So I kind of should have just left it all.
So if you press profile and then shift click account, so hold shift and then click account.
Okay.
And then hold shift, click payment, and then click plan with shift. And then you right click. You can do distribute horizontally.
Okay.
There we go. That'll split them up evenly. I mean, yeah, probably should have done that first.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I can do it one time.
Awesome. And then in the responsive engine, you just check out what it looks on a phone. Yeah. Yeah, I think you got it. And then just, yeah, click on like profile, for example. And then where it says collapse margins when container width is less than, make it, let's say 375. And then you do that for each of them. And then as you were before, you were going to make, I think you were going to make that like the header bar larger. Yeah. Like the parent group. So you can use the current minimum width, just set that to 99%. And that should do.
Where is that?
It's the top one.
Oh, gotcha.
You might want to move it down a little bit. Seems like you have other elements on the page. So like, yeah, if you click on it again, change that minimum width.
If you need to do baby management, we understand.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. What were you saying?
Change the current minimum width.
Okay.
Yeah, you can play around with that.
Yeah.
Till you get it to where you like. You can press up and down too, and that will change the number. Yeah.
Will it? It's not doing it for me.
Are you on a laptop? You might have the function key on, which would change what your up and down arrows do.
Oh, okay. Oh,
it's okay. You can also like, you see that little ruler, you can click on that ruler too.
Oh, okay, cool.
You probably want to make it like just less than, yeah, there you go.
Okay. That should work. And that way they'll show up on the thing. Okay, that works. Thank you. I think that's good. Yeah. Okay. That works.
Yeah, it looks good. Probably add a little bit the spacing in the left, and then you will have it like, and maybe in the right, in the UI builder. So not in the responsive part.
I'm sorry, I could barely hear what you were saying.
Oh, I think if you add a little bit more spacing in the left of profile, so the first tab.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. It's nice to see how Justin solves it, because I was gonna do like a different approach, and I like this one. It's pretty cool. Yeah, with the collapse margins.
Okay. All right, I'll play around with moving it over some. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Awesome. And then
I'm going to go ahead and log off. I have to get my daughter to
okay. All right. I hope she feels better soon. That sounds like a really harsh cough.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Bye. All right. Shall we return to the MeiliSearch conversation?
Are you there, Thomas?
Oh, maybe he stepped away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not in the participants list right now.
Oh, that's just my fault. I have two people waiting to get back in, and I'm not. The computer that I do to share my screen is a different computer than I do to manage the call. Hi, Reece. Hi, Thomas.
Hello.
So
Hello. Tonya, you were talking about MeiliSearch or MeiliSearch or whatever it is.
I call it MeiliSearch, but I'm not sure.
All I know is like Meili, Meili is beautiful in Chinese. So that's why I think it's Meili, but
Got it.
probably
All
not.
right.
I don't know.
MeiliSearch. Yep. So we were talking about MeiliSearch. Thomas, are you ready to talk about it again?
Sure. Yep.
Yep. So for those who might just be tuning in and weren't here for our earlier, like the start of this conversation, is Thomas is having some trouble getting support for setting it up, and he and Jay were talking about that earlier. I'm wondering if there's anything we can do to help.
Yeah, I guess, Justin, question for you here. So I'm focusing mostly on like API connections, and I've kind of just like mostly, I'll just share my screen just so you can see some of the basic stuff that I've kind of just studied. I've mostly been focusing like on authentication. Now, I guess one of my questions is, do you want me to post this in the chat so you can see this is just like the basics of authentication in my own words?
That's fine. We can read it here too. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So I see that obviously requires key-based authentication and then setting a master key. And do you want me to list this out, or do you just want to read it yourself?
No, this is okay. So there's 3 different types of keys. You have a public key, a private key, a master key. Okay. And then you have the index. Those are linked to the actual documentation.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and share that Google Doc with me. Probably speed things up in the chat. Yeah.
I will copy link, and I think we should make this not private. It's been a while since I've done this. How do you do this? There you go.
So down there where it says, yeah, over there.
Anyone on the internet?
It's okay right now. Yeah, if you copy the link now, it will let us see it.
Okay. Awesome.
Do you want me to stop sharing or just?
No, you can keep sharing. So where are you in the integration process?
Right now, I'm trying to understand where I'm actually setting like the keys. So I was taking a look at some of the Pablo documents here for API connections, or actually building out a plugin. I'm trying to understand this pretty much. So I see that it's key-based authentication, but it only gives me a few options here, and I don't know which exactly is that perfect match, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I get a little confused. Where am I actually working with the keys? It says like in the documentation that in order to set a master key and have access to public and private keys, you have to go into this document.
Okay. I can share my screen too. Do you have multi-share enabled, Tonya?
No, but I guess I can maybe turn that on.
Okay, we can both share
Okay.
too. So if you actually dig through, it talks about, like you need to add the master key and how to set the master key and blah, blah, blah. But it says when using authentication, a key must be added to the header of each API call. So if you're adding it, here's just an app that I'm in right now. API connector. I'll have to delete this after. But you can see there's one of the options that's private key in header. And so that would be the option to select there.
Gotcha.
Because it says right there that needs to be added to header. And the cool thing about curl is that you can actually copy curl statements, and you can, if I go back for a second, you can import a call from curl, and you just paste it in and click import, and then it will import it for you.
I didn't quite see exactly where you did that.
Oh, sorry. So let me zoom in here. So right underneath at the very bottom of the API, you click import from curl, and then you paste in the curl statement, and then it will try its best to do that. Obviously, it didn't do exactly what we wanted, but it tries its best.
So if it's not doing it, I guess, just erase it and restart until it fills properly?
Well, in this case, you just have to change. Like right now, it's saying get, and this is the URL here, right? So you click import, and you see, oh, it's doing HTTP curl. It should be doing this. And then you can change the name and everything like that. But
Gotcha.
So that domain should that be your AWS server? The 127 point whatever it was.
Keys, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, let's see here. If your environment's production, mainly okay, authentication activated public.
I was kind of following the steps of what the guy did on Facebook. There's a guy that's selling on Fiverr, and he says first you set up an AWS instance, and then he sets you up like a secure like API connection. So I just naturally assume that, okay, first you got to get that instance set up, and then you have to set the keys, and then you make those connections.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're connecting exactly. Yeah, Jay, you're totally right. You're connecting to that AWS server, and then you get the keys. You send it your master key. So you have to actually put in the master key for what that is. Once you have your master key, if I jump back in here, where it says the master key, you would paste in the actual key that you have for the master key. That goes in there. And then if I go back to the authentication here.
One question here. Sorry for cutting off. It says that in order to initiate that master key, you either have to use a command line or the other option. Did we just neglect that? Yeah, or an environment variable right there. Is that something we should, I guess, probably not worry about?
You're definitely going to have to set the master key. By doing so, all routes will be protected and will be required a key to access. So if you don't set one, then it's going to be unprotected. I wouldn't recommend that. Pablo, I haven't worked extensively with AWS servers, actually. Pablo, do you have experience with that specifically?
No, neither have I. No.
So in that case, like I'm not going to be much use for this specific for how to set that up. But if you're following that tutorial for how to set up the master key, you're going to have to. Here we go.
Yeah, my question is, where would this go, right, in the plugin? I guess perhaps.
No. This happens on AWS. This does not happen on Bubble.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
When you go through the installing your MeiliSearch server on AWS, the last step is it asks you if you want to set your master key. And then when you do, it displays it. And then if you scroll down after it's done configuring, which takes a split second, then it gives you your domain, the address that you need to put in, the 127, whatever it is.
They give you the public key and the private key as well, right, Jay? That's what I figured.
So once you set that up, so once you actually set up your master key, you have to then go through Bubble and then ask for the private and public key.
So I do that through Bubble.
Yeah, you do this portion through Bubble. So once you have your master key set up in there with the value, so you type in the value and then you would change this. That's the port. I'm not sure what port it's set up on. Like the AWS stuff, I can't help too much with, but this would be your AWS server. And then that would be the port, and that doesn't change. It's /keys. You would put in whatever you set as the master key, and then you click initialize call. And then you should, if it works, get a response that says private and public. And then you need to copy, you need to save both of these. Gotcha. Once you've saved it, then you can use the private and public key in the rest of your calls.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's enough for getting started at least. Thank you.
Okay.
But the next step is what I find the confusing part. Not that I didn't find, that was helpful. That was very helpful. Mm-hmm. But then you also have to evidently make some changes in your data types so that you have a UID field, a unique identifier field in each of the data types that you want included in your scrape. And then also you seem to need another name, like a collection name. So I'm unclear on I asked in the bubble form, and someone from MeiliSearch answered. He said, yes, you need to add a UID and you have to populate it with a unique number for every record in the data types. I'm not sure if he understood my question, and I'm not sure if I understood his answer.
So I because I haven't done MeiliSearch specifically, I can't speak to that specifically. But I can say that when you initialize a call, it automatically creates a thing for you. Like, for example, like we have an API integration with Acuity right now. So like when we here, let me just throw this on here. They're going to hate me for changing this, but I'll revert it back. So when you get data for an external API, you choose the API. So for example, Acuity is set up right now. You put in all the information that you need, and then it will return this what you would say like thing in the database would be, but this is not actually in my database. This is just basically, this is the JSON that's being returned. And so I can access all of this information, including the unique ID. If I want to save this to the database, however, I need to create my own database structure. And then when I retrieve this information, I have to save it over one at a time through a workflow.
So most of them have like default settings, which are these essentially default JSON.
No. So when you actually, okay, so what happens, it will detect. So if I go to, plugins, it will actually detect what your response is. So it'll ask the server, it'll receive the JSON, and then it'll say, oh, this is what your response was. It'll look something like this. And you'll be like, okay, date time is this, is a date. First name is a text. This thing is a number. And it'll ask you to match up all of them with like a type, basically a data type. And then once you've done that, you just set up the data elements for your for that API call. It's it doesn't live in your database unless you want it to. Like if you want it to live in your database, you need to create a new thing, a new type, and you need to like set it up so that when you can run a workflow that will get that data and then save it to your database. You have to do it that way if you want it in your database. If you're just getting the information to show it on your website, but you don't actually want to save it to your website, then you would just get data, and then it comes with all of the fields that you set up when you set up your API call. I don't know if I'm explaining that well. Tonya or Pablo, do you want to jump in and help with that?
I think you explained it very well, but if there's any confusion, because I already understood that concept, so maybe.
Right.
Well, it's just like, I mean, like when you're initializing an API call, like we did with Cheat Layer, where I initialized the webhook that was coming into our endpoint. I was specifying like which data types it is, just like I have to do when I go to create a new data type in the database. Like you're just verifying what kinds of information, and then it depends on whether you want to keep that information for later in your database, or if you want to just show it like in real time and then not save it. So it sounds like, Jay, what you were talking about is that they're saying that you need to save it in your database, right? Now, to make it searchable.
Yeah, I mean, well, they say their instructions say that you need to have a unique identifier for every record you want searched, if I understand.
Which you do, because every record, every bubble.
So I could just use the unique ID. I don't have to create one, which makes a ton of sense. But I didn't think of it because I was so lost in documentation. And then you also need to tell it. You need to tell MeiliSearch what collection of data types you want searched. So you have to give it a name. I'm not quite certain how you do that, period. I just
like the comparison would be, I'm guessing Algolia, right? Because we initially started exploring MeiliSearch as an alternative to Algolia. In
Yeah.
Algolia, you have to index your database with
Yes.
Algolia. So that's essentially what MeiliSearch is saying is you
Yes.
have to put each thing in your database has to have a unique identifier, so we can make sure that what MeiliSearch is doing on AWS and what you're doing in Bubble, that they're talking about the same things.
Yes.
That's how they know if something's getting updated versus something is new. And then for their indexing purposes. And then the other thing is you have to put them in a collection of things that are being indexed. Now, like Justin, I'm not familiar with MeiliSearch, so I'm not entirely sure like all of the consequences of that or what that means exactly in the context of MeiliSearch, but that's going to be for the purposes of making sure that things are being indexed and then can be searched.
Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question. I think we would probably need to do like a more in-depth run into MeiliSearch if we wanted to really get into those details.
Mhm.
Like we could probably together, the three of us, hack together like a very on Thomas's search. We could probably get the beginnings of the API started. But I'm not sure if we want to do that right now during office hours or if there are other questions that we want to dive into today, because that might be pretty time consuming.
But I think Thomas said he had enough to go on to keep working, right? Do you want to keep working on it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go through a lot of the hard work, and then when I stumble across problems, I'll come back to you guys.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan. In the meantime, we've had, let's see, Jay, did you have, you wanted to show us something.
I do.
And then we have Reece and Sander. So awesome.
Oh, I just want to show you guys a piece of a creative asset. It's not important. People
I
have
do.
questions,
I want to see it. I'm
Okay.
excited for your launch.
Okay, give me a second.
I mean, I've only been giving you a hard time about launching for how many months now?
Well, it's just been just a million months.
Just a million months. We're looking at your Slack.
Oh, you see my
Oh,
Slack?
that's a very cool video. No, we can see this video now.
Awesome.
That's it.
Very cool.
So we'll be using.
Were those your babies?
Yep, that's I just did it on my iPhone and worked with my VA to turn it into something that was more interesting.
Very cool.
So I'm pretty happy with it. That'll be our first piece of content that we push out to social media. We're going to use it in some ads, and that's pretty much it. So I'm meeting with her actually at 2:30, so I won't be on the whole meeting, probably don't pull office hours, to talk about next steps. I'm not sure what they are.
That's amazing. It looks really well. If you want some feedback, I would just add like maybe another screen with a couple points on why the app is great.
Yeah.
Something that makes people think, okay, I want to download it. Because right now, like the video is really cool, but the benefits of downloading the app maybe are not so clear at the beginning.
I agree.
Really cool. Really cool stuff.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing.
No problem. Thanks for viewing.
Awesome. Reece, did you have something for today?
No, nothing today.
Just hanging out?
Just hanging out.
Very cool. How about you, Sander? Anything for us?
Yes. It's something about the drag and drop. I struggled before with it. Wait, I will share my screen.
Sure. And I'm not sure if you've met Justin and Pablo yet, or if this is your first time. I can't remember.
No, second time, I guess.
Second time.
Not
Okay.
talked before, but I saw them already.
Got it.
Nice to meet you.
So hello.
Hello.
Right screen. Yes. Okay, so I have the drag and drop. These are three different repeating groups with 3 different drop zones. For each repeating group, it's another day, so it's filtered. What is here, it's just a test. So everything where a test is 1 should be in the column of Monday, where it's 2 should be in the column of Tuesday, and for column 3, it's Wednesday. What I try to achieve is you drag over something from here to box number 2, that it's come in this repeating group, but it doesn't work. And I'm stuck on it. So this is it in a real view. It just does data, so it don't look really nice. But the drag and drop is working, so you can drop it, but then when you leave it, it's just remove. And then when you reload the page, nothing is happening and everything is back at normally. Yeah. So that's a bit strange. And I never used a drag and drop before, so
Okay.
I hope somebody can help me.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are the workflows that you're running on when you drop?
I will show them here. Can you read it or should I zoom in? Or is it clear?
It's clear for me.
Yep, I can read it.
Perfect. So I have the 3 different ones. Yeah, they are all the same. So when you drop something, then the thing to change is that request form, and then test is going to 1 or going to 2 or going to 3. It depends on which zone. But what I saw is that it stay empty. So if I put it in the debugger step by step, and I put it here, for example, it's right, and it's changing it to 1, so it's perfect. But then here, the thing to change is empty, so he have no idea what he have to change. So that's why it's not working, I guess.
So can you check
So
go back to the editor for a second?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so it's this drop area. So that's the request form right there.
Yes.
And then, so that's the new request form. And then the one that you're dragging, can you select that group? And so it's current cells request form that you're moving over.
Yes.
Okay. Go back to the preview. Sorry, Pablo and Tonya, if you guys have any questions or any ideas too on this. Can you go into debug mode or into inspect mode rather?
Yes.
And then hover over like the purple one. Yeah. Hover over the request form.
Okay.
Right there. Yeah.
And it's here.
It's empty there. Yeah. Click on the empty. Scroll up for text.
The text is empty, but there is data inside, I guess, or not? Yeah, there is data inside. It's over here.
Okay, so that's in, but that's in the group, right? Type in the bottom right where there's that, yeah, right there. Type in the name of that request form. Yeah, go ahead. Probably the first one. And so
I can rename it if you want. Then it's more clear.
Yeah.
It's this one. I will put like this.
/ okay.
3 slashes. Then yeah, it's unique. Okay.
Oh, you have to hit inspect first before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it. So many invisible things. Okay. This one is also not empty. It's this one. So it's also loaded with a unique ID in it.
Okay, so go ahead and drop that one again and do it step by step. I think you have to hit stop and then step by step.
Doesn't matter in which. Can I put it in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's saying drop area request form new to has a group dropped on it.
So
Okay.
that's perfect. That's what we want.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Then when we go to the next step, thing to change is this drop request.
Oh, it's not this
form.
drop areas request form. That's the problem. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go back to
then,
the edit and then change that to current workflow request form.
Okay, of course. Okay, normally now it should work then, I guess. I hope.
Hopefully.
Okay, one more time. This to 3. Yeah, it's look a lot better.
There we go.
Okay.
Woohoo.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, now I can work on it. Thank you very much. That was everything for me today.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah. I can put it back because it's done, but that's my problem. I know I can do it like this. Will it come back? Okay, yeah. No. Look, if I drop 24, so it's orange 24, and I drop it over here. Oh, now it's working.
It looks like the first one's being hidden.
Okay. No idea why, but it's
if you move 15 back, for example, on the right, move that one back to the middle. Do you see how like the other ones are hidden? They're like invisible in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So you're hiding. Those are repeating groups that are referring to them, or are they? How does that work? How is that working?
Yeah, I have to check it out. I tried so many things, so maybe there are some conditionals on it or not. There are no conditionals. Oh, here, there is a conditional. Should remove these. No, no conditionals on it. Just here the filter that say only 1, only 2, and only 3. So I will try again. Okay, so if I drag number 4 to this day, okay, that's working.
Drag 4 back to number 1 now. Yeah. No. So it's once it disappears, it's not showing up. That has to do with the drag and drop functionality, I think. So click back on the bubble editor.
Okay.
So if you click on the drag and drop group, there should be a setting. Sorry, the draggable.
Oh, sorry.
And behavior post drop is hide group. Change that.
Sorry, where do you see it? Ah, here.
Right there. Do move back. And then because it disappeared, like it should be moving. Yeah, this should fix it. Hopefully. To be honest, I hate the drag and drop plugin because it does weird stuff sometimes. But okay. If you can get it to work, I mean, that's great.
And for those who might want some even further like work on the drag and drop plugin, Eli talked about it extensively when he was here for episode 100? Or I think it was episode 100 or some. No, it wasn't episode 100. It was one of those, but it's on YouTube, so you can go find it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if I go 24 to the right, so here, if I drag it back to 1,
there we go.
It's working.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, there we go. It's good to go.
Ooh. Okay, I can keep going. That's perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
welcome.
I have to go already, so see you later.
All right, see you.
All right. Thanks for
Okay,
stopping by.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. What's next? Who's got something else?
So the other day we talked about importing into Google Sheets.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin, you were kind enough to share that sheet with me. Super awesome.
Mhm.
Is the expression that you're writing after the import XML, whatever you call it, is that regex that you're using?
No, it's called XPath. So if you Google XPath, there's a whole syntax. It's actually pretty easy to figure out. And you can usually just Google like, how do I select blah, blah, blah in XPath? Like, how do I select something by class in XPath or something like that? And you'll usually find something on Stack Overflow that tells you exactly how to refer to it. Is there a specific thing that you're trying to find that I could probably show you?
Yeah, I was able to get some of my attempts just by messing with what you gave me to work, but it's one of them I couldn't get to work. So I'm gonna
Yeah, go ahead. Share your screen.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out where I am. Okay, there we are. So I want to get this to work. So give me a second. I watched a bunch of tutorials on it and stuff, but it just wasn't really, this one it just isn't happening properly. Oh, there we go. Inspect. So here it is. It's a span ID, product price. I tried span, I tried class, I tried the data thing that you used, and using this, I tried a lot of things.
Okay, you probably want to grab the ID. ID means there can only be one ID on the page, so that's perfect. So we want to search by the ID, so a product price. So if you go back, yeah, right there. So where it says contains data th blah blah blah, change where it says at data th. Oh, I guess find the column that you want it to populate first.
Yeah. Let's just add a column. Okay.
Yeah, so change that to at ID. Yeah, and then change that to whatever it was, product price, and then get rid of the slash at href. That's referring to the link if there's a link, but you don't want the link. So it's slash at href. Yeah, just delete that portion.
But I still want the double quote, the comma, and the oops.
Yep.
Okay.
And so then you have to refer to the right page. So do that. And then where it says, yeah, change, remove that. Oh, you have to take one page at a time for this. Like you can't refer to all of the products. You have to refer to each page one by one.
Okay, which makes sense because it's in the previous one. That might be why this wouldn't work. I didn't try that.
Oh, so it's on so it also listed on the product on just like the regular products page.
What's that?
So it also listed on the product page, the price?
No, it's on these individual pages.
Oh,
where it
okay.
says the name of the plant. Okay.
So let's see what happened here. So what is it saying? It's saying formula parser. So we deleted a comma after the quotation mark. So after that, yeah, just add the comma and then enter. Okay, what's the error now?
Something was red. This was red here. I did something here.
Oh, there needs to be a quotation mark before that as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay, what's the error now? Formula parse error. // make sure all the brackets are lined up.
Ah,
There's an extra, yeah. You might be hitting the limit for how many you can do. There is a limit. I think it's 25 per Google Sheet
okay.
of import XML. So let me just create a new sheet and see if that works. Okay. Yeah, it works. So yeah, it's just a limitation. So if you want to create a new sheet really easily, and this is a nice trick for anyone, you just do new tab and then sheet.new.
Down here.
Oh, no. So press Control T on your keyboard, or you have a Windows computer. Control T.
You can tell I don't use Drive much or spreadsheets.
Yeah. And then you just type in sheet.new and then enter. And that'll just create a new Google Sheet for
holy
you.
moly. Had no idea that was possible.
Yeah,
So
you can do the same thing for Google Docs or Google Slides, just docs.new or slides.new.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then, yeah, just copy that import XML over and it should work.
I don't know where I went. I'm lost. I don't know what happened.
I think it's on sheet 1. So you're
that's right.
on the tab.
I went
Yeah.
over.
And then
So
copy
how
that
does
in.
it know to go how do I get more than, like, how does it know that I'm looking for not just this one product item?
You have to get the links of all of the different pages of all the products. So you can scrape that from like a search page or a products page.
There it is.
And once you get all the links, then you can dynamically refer to those. So you'd be like, just use
it's
like
a two-step scrape.
link. Yeah,
right. So
exactly.
I could even do that on one sheet there, right? With collecting the href over here and then having it be a cell, having this be the cell instead of the, okay. And then, so when over here, when that's what we're looking for. So that would be the page. Okay. All right. I'll get that another shot. Thank you. That's helpful. Very helpful.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. What's next? Anybody? See, things go so fast when Pablo and Justin are here.
Justin is the star today, the MVP.
Yeah, the MVP.
Sorry, guys. I keep talking today. I don't know why.
No, it's good.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Very cool. Well, I'm checking to see if, because I was talking to Thomas yesterday about this, and we're going to, and then I mentioned it to Pablo earlier, actually. So we have a fellow bubbler who is launching something cool. So I'm going to invite her onto office hours to talk about Build Weekend, which she's launching, which is a lot like the startup weekend that we've been talking about quite a bit over the last couple months. So this is happening. The first one, I think it's the first one, is scheduled. It'll pop up here for November 12th. So I was thinking we might reach out to her, see if she wants to come on office hours and talk about it, and then maybe we can put together a team for it. So yeah, so the next event's November 12th. So I'm just putting that out there.
By the way, nice website, and it's built on Bubble for a landing page.
Yes, this is built on Bubble. Yeah, and I think this is what she was launching with Build Camp over this like last weekend or something. She just went through Build Camp with NoCode Carlos. Carlos is a member here as well. And yeah, so I'd be excited to have her on and talk to her and see what she's up to. I think she's also launching like her own. Yes, here. So she's coming up with something for a teaching bubble as well. So that's what's on my mind this morning.
It's amazing how many resources and how many free resources there are. It's incredible. It's amazing to me, like anybody who has an internet connection can go learn this incredibly useful and marketable skill in a short period of time with tons of free help, no college loan required. I think it's amazing.
Yep. I agree 100%.
Yeah, a lot of people are predicting the downfall of universities over that.
I think it's maybe about time.
Yeah.
Over no code?
I think just
and
like
other things.
YouTube, having tutorials, free tutorials online. It's like a lot of things that you used to need to go to school for, you don't need to anymore.
For practical things, especially YouTube is great. However, like I don't watch theoretical things on YouTube, the kind of things you'd learn in a liberal arts or be exposed to in a liberal arts education. But it's on there. My brother, who has a hands-on kind of job, he listens to all kinds of like, idea stuff. He also learns how to like fix a sink or whatever, like we all do on YouTube.
Right.
But even that is available. I guess what it isn't is vetted. You go to school and for a liberal arts degree, you know who the instructor is. They've written a book, and they've been hired, and they've got tenure, and everyone feels okay about giving tons and tons and tons of money to the school so you can sit and absorb their knowledge.
Yeah, but so many of those schools have their lectures for no charge online now.
Right.
So it's like, which really points to what are they selling? What is the school selling? They're selling the piece of paper at the end, right? Not
the relationships, like you.
Yep, the marketing and
Yeah. Which honestly, like, I have a relationship with you guys, like I know you people now. We've been hanging out together a long time. So probably I may know more people from my professional associations like this one than I did, during college. Not talking about my party friends. Talking about the useful friends.
There's a difference.
There's the fun friends and the friends that help you in life.
Yep. It's important to know the difference.
And I didn't. I would have done better in college if I'd recognized that. An expensive school. How come I don't have rich friends? Don't know.
Man, I'm so glad I dropped out of college. Jay, when you said like how useful, like resourceful things were, it reminded me a few months ago, I changed the radiator fan on my car with zero knowledge.
Yep.
Just with the YouTube video. And I did it perfectly. I did it literally perfectly. It took me like 10 hours, but I did it perfectly. I made sure to like watch my steps. I know exactly how the hood of my car. Yeah, I changed my oil on my car and everything. That's all YouTube. It's insane. I don't trust mechanics, so I was like, I'm doing this myself. Screw you guys.
I trimmed out my entire house with this super ornate trim. I've never used a power tool before. I was so thrilled. And then Bubble, I wanted to learn how to do this, and the resources were there.
Yep. I mean, I have specifically, like, I have put it in my will.
In your will?
In my will, I have said specifically to my sister that if something happens to me and Elise still needs guardianship, I've said do not use her inheritance to pay for college.
Yeah.
End of story.
Good call.
Like, I'm not interested in throwing a bunch of that money away. I mean, I put it with the caveat, like, if she decides that she wants to be a doctor or a lawyer or something that requires going to school, like, you can consider it. But outside of that, like, if she's not sure what she wants to do, no, don't do it. That's not okay with me.
Well, what's interesting to me is that, like, right now, almost anybody, at least in the US, almost anybody, or the developed world, can go and make their own job. You can learn a skill and you can create your own one-person business, or maybe a many-person business, who knows? So you can do that, but you need to have some kind of drive. You need to have a little bit of confidence and the ability to, the willingness to fail. And then you have to have a lot of energy to devote to it. There's factors. Maybe not everybody can do that. So like a couple of years ago, I may have mentioned this before because I think it's so interesting.
I definitely think it's all emotional for sure, especially with business. Like you have to have intense grit for things because you're most likely going to fail.
You're going to fail at least a
Big
few
one.
times, but eventually if you keep going, you have a chance to do
Right.
something that will hit. So I interviewed this guy. His job is futurist. I can't remember his name. It might be Brian David Johnson. I'm going to have to Google it. He works for ASU now, but he was with Intel, and that's his job, is futurist. And he goes around and he helps people envision the future. It's a lot more complicated than that. I made it sound stupid, but it's not stupid. So when I talked to him, he had just been back from a huge manufacturer in the US, and they'd been asking him to help them understand what their business will look like in the next 10 and 20 years. And so when I interviewed him, what we talked about was people's job roles. And he said that we can expect that rather than having like your job is financial analyst or some other specific job title with a specific set of duties, that you will be hired because you have an innate ability to do something. Like maybe you're great with spreadsheets and numbers. So rather than being a financial analyst, maybe for a year or two, you'll be working crunching numbers, but maybe another year or two, you'll be sent to Japan to help them understand if it's worth expanding in that market. And maybe a different year, you'll be doing something completely different that's only tangentially related. So rather than having a job role, you're a set of skills. And he said, you'll also have to keep learning new skills, of course, because skills become obsolete, especially right now as things are changing so quickly. So I said to him, what if, a lot of people we all know, they love to go to work. And as soon as they get there at 9 o'clock and they sit down in that office chair, they're like, now I can relax as I'm going to do the same old stuff I do every Monday at 10 o'clock or whatever. They don't really have to think. They just execute. And so I said to him, what about those people? Because I think that might be the majority of people. And he just kind of said, well, they're going to get left in the dirt.
I mean, you'd be surprised though, like the majority of like my generation, millennials, we're all about work-life balance. So I don't know if that's necessarily true for the younger generations. Sidelining into something different though. Quiet. My goodness. I just dropped a bomb or something.
Oh,
Just thinking
sorry.
about what you said.
I was muted. I was
I don't
muted.
think it's generational. I don't think that's a generational difference. I think people are people.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are enjoying life more. Sorry about that.
Ooh, that was loud.
Sorry.
That's okay. Wait, that was on your end, Thomas? Where are you? That's crazy.
He's changing a radiator or something.
Okay. I mean, it sounded like a jackhammer, so that's awesome.
Yeah, like I happen to like speak at the moment. The guy's wagging the jackhammer on the ground.
Got it. Okay. No worries. Yeah. Awesome. Well, if there are no other bubble related questions, I'm happy to carry on the conversation in an after hours session here. But we'll go ahead and wrap things up for today. We will be back tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time if you are watching the YouTube replay, because we didn't get to broadcast this to Facebook Live because Facebook and all of Facebook's products are down right now.
Like actually down?
Yeah, Messenger, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram,
Is the world
they're all
ending?
Is that? I got a question. Do you think that's a result of the whole whistleblower situation?
I do not know. I just know that I do know about the whistleblower situation. What I think is hilarious is that this is not new news. Like even before our more recent controversial political times in the United States, people have been talking about this for a long time. So this is not the first time that these accusations have come out, but I'm not sure if it's related or not. I just know that you can't do anything really on Facebook at the moment. Like some scrolling is working, but not a lot. So, but yes, we will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time, if you would like to join us for a complimentary session of CoCreative NoCode's office hours, please do email us at team@cocreativenocode.com. We'll get you some credentials and be happy to answer your bubble questions and welcome you into the membership if you'd like. Thank you so much, Pablo and Justin, for being here with me today, and Kim as always, and our members Thomas, Reece, Jay, and Brittany and Sander were also here. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for all your help.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, no worries. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Bye-bye.